with Goody because it's about crazy nonsense that continues to happen around the world. Well, about one particular subject or deal, a situation, if you might want to say. And actually, it's something that Big O and I discussed way back in the day, but every year it comes up. Every year somebody wants to talk about this story. But I want to make sure that I get this message out. I hope you guys had a great holiday. You got everything you wanted, but more importantly, because it is the season of giving, that you were able to give the people that you love everything you wanted to give them because you felt you loved them, because you felt they deserved it, because you are a kind-hearted person. Listen, if you're listening to me, you must be kind-hearted, a little crazy, and you're probably thinking, when is this thing going to be over so I can tune into a different channel? Shit happens, I get it. I'm not mad at you. That's just the way it is, right? I'm not going to cry over spilled milk. But imagine this. Imagine, if you will, before we get into this article right now. Imagine, if you will, that you are like, you're walking around in the middle of the desert somewhere, and you come across a steel door. And it looks like it's coming out of the ground, kinda. This steel door is just, I don't know, it's just coming out of the ground. And what do? You open it. And this is what you hear. What do? You go inside, you go explore, you shut the door and go home and cry to mommy. I don't know, it's a tough one. I think initially I'd run into it. And that's the news for today. We have an oldie good buddy. Oh my God, Moonraker. Sorry, there was a lot of alcohol and pastries and food yesterday, so I am still in a food coma laced with eggnog and some vodka. That's it, okay? And it's a true story. Hashtag, fuck it. Anyway, the story is U.S. Delta forces fought with aliens in underground battle in New Mexico. Witness reports. This witness, of course I got clickbaited again, this witness is not with us anymore. But they're talking about Philip Schneider. Philip Schneider apparently worked in the quote-unquote Dulce underground base. Well, he actually worked on it, should I say, in building it, because Philip Schneider was an explosive engineer who says that back in 1979, he participated in building the infamous secret underground base. Can you believe that shit? Crazy. But not only that, let me tell you what happened, because it turns out that as many as 60 soldiers and civilians were actually killed when the E.T. Greys were armed with plasma guns and went bananas. And they went toe-to-toe with the Delta forces and the civilians that were at Dulce. Or the alleged base Dulce. This is what Phil Schneider told people back in the day. Isn't that just crazy? Is this something real? You know, when we first talked about this, I said, wouldn't it be fun to take like a swarm of drones and have them piloted all over Dulce, New Mexico, and try to find this damn place? Well, it turns out there's actually a person that's an expert on the Battle of Dulce, New Mexico. I gotta laugh. How the fuck did this guy become a freaking expert on it? His name is Anthony Sanchez. He's an author of UFO Highways and the founder of the Umbra Research Group, which is dedicated to understanding the hidden truth behind UFO ET phenomena. According to him, he says in 1979, when I guess the government or the military sunk a shaft during some mining explanation, fuck, it's going to be that kind of podcast. You know what it is? I've got this freaking thing going off in the background, but the podcast must go on. So let me continue. some mining exploration to see if they could build a similar subterranean base. They discovered a very old cavern system where Gray's extraterrestrials had a base. What kind of a fucking discovery is that? I mean, wouldn't you turn, like I would blow up New Mexico in general. If I found that I dug a big ass fucking hole and there's a bunch of grays there, guess what? I'm going to blow that motherfucker up. The entire state. You got 24 hours to get the fuck out of New Mexico because I'm going to blow the bitch up. But apparently that's not what went down. That really isn't what happened, right? It turns out Schneider says that him and part of that force of military people were pretty much confronted by the ETs, and there was one of those OK Corral shootouts. He said that he was actually mind-fucked by one of the aliens. I kind of like that term, so I'm going to use it. And he was, at one point, he ended up killing 2 people before he himself was hit by a plasma weapon. And he escaped, and the shit that was going on, and the military ended up calling in the special forces. Isn't that crazy? Philip Schneider was down there. Now, here's something fascinating about his story, because that plasma that hit him actually took out part of his hand. If you knew Phil Schneider back in the day, or you went to any kind of place he was talking, like, guess what? Did you notice whether or not he had all his fingers? Or did he blow them shits up because he was someone that dealt with explosives on a regular basis? Not anybody think about that angle. Maybe Phil blew his fingers up. Now, I don't think you can be a really good explosives expert if you blow your fucking fingers out of your hand. So maybe E.T. is a kind of a fallback here. I don't know what the Popettes, what do you guys think about that? Am I just an idiot again that you guys think? Am I just making this up because Twitter said so? Well, it turns out that in 1996, Phyllis Schneider was found strangled to death in his apartment. However, the cause of death was actually suicide. Now, how can a guy with maybe 1.5 hands strangle himself and it be suicide? I mean, this is a weird story, folks. This is just beyond weird. It's one of those things you can't write this stuff. You cannot write the fact that a guy with 1.5 hands strangled themselves, who turns out to be an AKA whistleblower, that told people the crazy ass story about the battle underground in New Mexico. But he strangled himself with his own hands. You can't make this shit up. I mean, it's almost impossible. I mean, if you made it up, you'd have to be a director somewhere in Hollywood, or one of the best writers, like a Kuntz or something like that, or one of those crazy guys. But I don't get it. How the fuck does this happen? How does no one go crazy bananas trying to figure out what the fuck really happened? To me, I would think that this is now an unsolved case. It's an unsolved murder. Somebody out there, wherever the fuck they found him strangled, somebody reopened this case, because this is fucked up. This is the kind of shit that it keeps going. It's kind of like Elvis sightings. We have Phil Schneider sightings. It's Elvis and Tupac. Because, there you go. No one believes the way they went, so the shit just keeps popping up every year. Just like the Dulce, New Mexico story. It just keeps on popping up. And this guy Sanchez wrote a book about it, and he says, hey, I'm an expert on the battle of Dulce, New Mexico. I mean, seriously, when you say the battle, I mean, you're thinking back to the fucking Civil War. You're not thinking about something that happened, 70s, 80s. It was an underground base, and freaking aliens are fighting our military men and women. Strictly bananas. Crazy. And of course, the article links ETs, especially the Greys, to Roswell, New Mexico. Did the crash at Roswell, New Mexico, was that a bunch of idiots who decided that they were going to kamikaze, to let the humans know they were here, or they had some problems with their ship, but were they possibly on the way to Dulce area? Were they on the way over there to their own little base that later on was discovered by the military? The plot thickens. I think for 2019, we really got to take a lot of these old stories, all these old UFO stories like this one, Dulce, New Mexico, and find out where the fuck the twist is at. Because I'm telling you, I was okay with the story. I was okay with the story until I read the part that he strangled himself. Now we got problems. Now we got, basically, someone's fucking with us. And I said I was going to tone down the cursing, but I can't help it. Somebody is literally screwing with us, just like this alarm that's been blowing here for almost 9 hours now. What is the master plan here? Is there something in Dulce, New Mexico? Do any one of you fly drones in that area? And would you be willing to fly an entire sortie over Dulce, New Mexico to find the base? And if the NSA is listening, I'm just kidding. It's not real. Don't fuck with me. Wink, wink. But if you do have like a drone business down there, let me know. We'll get together. We'll plan something. And we'll make it an event. We'll invite everybody on the planet to come over to Dulce, New Mexico and search for the underground base. Wouldn't that be something that would go viral? Fuck, what a great idea. I mean, seriously, I can't even imagine living out there in Dulce, New Mexico at all. Like, I would be scared to go out at night. I really would. What the hell is up with New Mexico in general? New Mexico, Arizona. What the fuck is going on in the desert? Maybe grays, maybe they thrive in these desert conditions. Maybe that's why they're there. Maybe that's why there's so many stories coming out from that neck of the woods of the United States. I don't know. Listen, if you like the podcast, the best thing you can do is share it. The best thing you can do is like it, follow it, subscribe, tell your peoples, beam it across your desk to your coworker. Text your mom and say, hey, by the way, mommy, you might want to listen to this. Either way, it is your support. And now, we got to find a new slogan for 2019. 2018 was a year of no fucks given. And I want to say with all the trolling and all the hate messages I got, that no fucks given was a complete success. On top of that, we brought along Bugs the UFO Hunter, and he enjoyed that no fucks given attitude, especially when he farted in my face. But for 2019, we need a new hashtag. What is the new hashtag for UFO Buster Radio? At one point, I was thinking fucktards, but I don't know, that might be too aggressive. And really, I want to be PC about it in some ways, not entirely. So fucktards is probably not a good thing to say. I'm thinking. I don't know. You guys tell me, what's the hashtag for UFO Buster Radio 2019? And by the way, finally got a new PC to replace the crazy shit I was dealing with the last 2.5 years. And so we will be having some better quality here eventually. True that, players. So keep an eye out for that. You'll see it. It's coming to you at a podcast area, mobile app, on your phone, wherever. I don't know. Listen, thank you for listening. It's man Mulrick. I'll be back tomorrow. And hopefully we can find some crazy stuff going on in the news, because there's a lot of stories on NASA, a lot of stories about new worlds and asteroids coming by the Earth and asteroids in the Kuiper Belt. It's all fucked up and all over the place. So we'll make some heads or tails and try to find a story that makes sense for us. But for now, we're going to outro this thing with a song called Crazy Alien Transmissions, because I can. Sayonara, people.